Hello, YouTube. Welcome to another exciting episode of Simon Says Wrestling. Um, Now officially with Backlash done and dusted. Um, Obviously, a lot of things for us to go through from this event. A lot of people were not looking forward and were not really that hyped for the show, but I think the show delivered more than what was expected of it. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share the channel. Let's interact. Let's get to know each other on all the socials. Um, Obviously, it's at Simon Says Wrestling on every platform, X, Twitter, whatever you prefer to call it, Instagram, TikTok. Let's go out there. Let's interact and let's get to share some ideas. But just let me know what you guys thought of Backlash as a whole. Let me know what you took away from it, and was it something you expected or it didn't live up to the hype? Obviously, the match card on Backlash was it wasn't a lot of matches that were going to take place, but for the amount of matches that this show had, it delivered way above expectations. A huge shout out to obviously Pat McAfee and Gunther, who put on a clinic, obviously with Michael Cole interjecting himself into the storyline, given the fact that it all started with Gunther actually wanting to choke out Michael Cole, but with Pat McAfee standing up for him. So that was great to see. Cena versus Orton. As they said, one last time. Hopefully, this is not the last time. Hopefully, this is not that because the chemistry that these two guys have had over the years has kept us glued to the screen for the longest of time. And we also had Penta versus Dominic Mysterio. Also, Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch. We also had Jacob Fatu defending the United States Championship against LA Knight, Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, and yeah, it was just with obviously Jacob Fatu being the fourth man. That obviously was the match that kicked off the show. As Biggie would say, a bunch of big, big meaty men beating meat. A fantastic match that we had, and obviously, what I took away from it is the fact that Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre are obviously very far from ending their feud. Going forward, we're obviously going to see a lot of matches between the two, physicality and obviously banger matches. I hope Drew McIntyre is okay because he had an awkward landing on that South of Heaven chokeslam from the top of something to do with the broadcasting tables. He landed awkwardly on his head. Hopefully he's okay. He can come back to the ring. But I'm getting concerned as to what we're doing with Drew McIntyre title-wise. Obviously, I didn't expect him to come out and state the fact that he wants to go after the baddest dog in the yard, which is obviously Jacob Fatu and the potential that he has. But now it seems like they've literally sent him to a tier just below the World Heavyweight Championship. This is basically your Intercontinental Championships and your United States Championships. Obviously, I'm hoping that he gets back to fighting it out with Damian Priest and they can try and in some way just go back into that World Heavyweight Championship picture. So it will be interesting to see how all of this can carries out, because obviously it's now Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre had a match at Mania. Drew won that one, and in this match, there came a point where Damian Priest pulled the referee out while Drew McIntyre was about to win, and it seems like the feud is gonna be going on for a while. Hopefully, after this feud, we can start pushing Drew McIntyre into the title picture. We also had a debut from Jeff Cobb. I'm not really familiar with his work, so I'm obviously gonna do my research and just check what he's all about. But for the fact that he can throw himself onto LA Knight while he's on the ring post, just lets you know that he's a powerhouse, and he's probably going to be a powerhouse heel that's going to replace Jacob Fatu. Eventually, it is going to happen. I think this wasn't a guy that was introduced to help Jacob Fatu. This is the guy that's gonna replace Jacob Fatu in the group. We still haven't got a name for this group. That's what's killing me. That's what's killing me. I just see these guys online giving aftermarket bloodline and stuff like. We need a group. We need a group name for this faction, and obviously with the heat that's going on between Jacob Fatu and Solo Sokoa, eventually Jacob has to turn babyface because I believe that at this point in time he has a lot of fans behind him. With obviously with everything that he has done and all the attention that's obviously on him. So now it's interesting to see how this dynamic and how this introduction of Jeff Cobb into this faction is gonna obviously tear apart more Jacob Fatu and Solo Sokoa going forward. Jacob Fatu retained, obviously with the help of Jeff Cobb and Solo Sokoa, who was calling the shots. The following match, we also had the Women's Intercontinental Championship, Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch. For me, this is basically giving Lyra Valkyria that validity that I believe she's always had. The 2 weeks prior to this match taking place at Backlash, she showed us that she has that killer instincts to deliver great promos, and she was owning Becky Lynch on the mic. So it was great to see. Obviously, in this match, Becky Lynch losing the match, it looked like it was a weird finish, but she got pinned nonetheless. The student has now become the master, as it seems, and I just love the fact that Becky Lynch put herself and her ego aside and just let Lyra Valkyria have this great victory. So it's always interesting to see when... It's not even interesting, like it's great to see the fact that Becky Lynch put over Lyra Valkyria. And as I've said, she's been putting on great matches. The promos that she's been working in the past 2 weeks have been excellent. So it's obviously great to see. And I think the bigger picture would be Becky Lynch versus Bayley going forward, given the fact that Becky Lynch has obviously confessed the fact that she's the one that took Bayley out. So it's going to be interesting to see and who's next for Lyra Valkyria, and who do you guys think should dethrone her as the Intercontinental Champion. It'll be interesting to see who her next opponent is and what the story is, but obviously now it seems like Becky Lynch will then be focusing on Bayley, or Bayley will now be targeting Becky Lynch. It's going to be interesting to see that one. The other match the following match that we got was the Intercontinental Championship with Dominic Mysterio versus Penta. Daddy Dom is on a roll. Daddy Dominic Mysterio is on a roll, ladies and gentlemen. I think he's starting to be very comfortable in the scheme that he's in. He's always been comfortable. He's always been great as a heel ever since turning on his dad. But now it seems that he's actually growing himself as a heel and as a character. And it's just great to see the fact that as much as he is a legend's son, he took himself away from that and now he's trying to build something for himself. Obviously, a great match with these two, Penta and Dominic Mysterio, two great luchadors. I don't know if Dominic Mysterio still can be considered a luchador because he doesn't wear a mask, but his wrestling style is much more lucha libre. Do you guys remember a cartoon in South Africa called Mucha Lucha? Yes, there was some good times, and they had the catchiest song, Mucha Lucha, Mucha Lucha. It's the way of life. Anyway, before I digress from all of that, obviously, Americano El Grande Americano. You know what? You know the beauty of this, of having people that interact with you on social media and obviously in the in social media platforms. One of the gents that I normally discuss wrestling with, he made a point that I wasn't actually I wasn't aware of. El Grande is Mexican, and Americano is a cup of coffee that's actually in America for Americans. So I don't know. I don't know if you guys knew that before or it's something that I maybe missed. It's the fact that Americano is American. Directly translated into Mexican, it's Americano, but it's an American coffee. So yeah, I don't know if you guys will find that interesting, but anyway, it blew my mind. Probably not delivering it the same way that he made me aware of it. In the following match, we had obviously Gunther versus Pat McAfee, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be. I thought Gunther was gonna dog walk like Pat McAfee in that arena up and down and just kill him. But Pat McAfee did post a picture of his chest after the match, and yeah, he got cooked. Obviously, Gunther winning the match with Michael Cole trying to make his presence felt, with obviously trying to help Pat McAfee win the match against Gunther. But the ring general prevailed, and what's next for Gunther? Is he going back to get his heavyweight championship back from Jey Uso? Does he? Because he had this weird moment where he gave Pat McAfee his props, and that's unlike Gunther. Like Gunther never does that. Gunther, he never acknowledges the other individual. If he does, that's a sign of respect, and I think Pat McAfee and Gunther's respect. The following match was obviously the main event for the show, which was Randy Orton and versus John Cena. Now, as I was watching this match, I'm like, okay, cool. We've got these two legends going at it for the Universal Championship. R-Truth came and saved John Cena from a punt. So, with that being said, would it have not made more sense for R-Truth to save Cena or to help him win at WrestleMania because he was always believed in him and then aligned himself with Cena, who R-Truth as himself is a delusional character, thinking that he is saving John Cena and then there's always two sides to every story. It would have been more entertaining, and we couldn't have gotten that whole the final boss didn't need to be involved gag that they fed us. So R-Truth came out and then helped Cena tonight from getting punted, and obviously with Cena retaining his title. Could we have not done this at WrestleMania? Could we have not done this at WrestleMania? Now you're hearing rumors that Travis Scott is training with Booker T for his in-ring appearance. No. Now we have big-headed, I have a big head myself, but big-headed egomaniacs who try to interject themselves in everything that's main event worthy in WWE, saying it wasn't needed and they would have needed to finesse stuff to be a little bit. You know what? It was a great match between Cena. I'm not gonna go on about The Rock. It was a great match between John Cena and Randy Orton. And with how everything ended, obviously Cena hitting the low blow, getting the cover, and then as he was leaving the ring, it seemed like his wheels were starting to turn. Is he starting to realize the fact that he's not enjoying being a heel? Is he not enjoying how he has handled everything from ever since he has aligned himself? As a matter of fact, I'm just going to take it out. Ever since John Cena turned heel, is he starting to question the fact that he should have never actually done this? Because that would have, this in itself would have made for a better story than having to interject some bum that doesn't even attend shows. I said I was going to leave it, but I'm not. That doesn't even attend shows and doesn't even attend the most critical points in wrestling. Wouldn't this have made more sense where we have an emotional turmoil and an emotionally conflicted John Cena after everything that he has done and gotten desperate to the point where he's turning on people he has always been loyal to, and obviously being the fans, being the baby faces that are in the company? Wouldn't have this been a better story where we have Cena, who's just doing the most disgusting and unfamiliar things to us, that we start questioning, oh, okay, what the hell is going on with him? And he also starts questioning himself, can I not do this with how I've always introduced myself to the crowd and to the universe? For me personally, like the way The Rock has ruined this run, I think if he excludes himself going forward, we can actually save it. We can actually save everything that this was supposed to be. We could take it to what it was supposed to be in the beginning. So for me, seeing that emotionally turmoil and the fact that Cena went out in the press conference and was apologetic to the media, saying that, you know what, I haven't been that forthcoming and answering your guys' question. I'm ready to do that. And R-Truth just coming out and obviously getting A8 over the table, where obviously now putting R-Truth into the Cena story. R-Truth is the fans. R-Truth is the fans that don't want to believe the fact that John Cena is a heel. R-Truth is the one that will stick by John Cena and will keep saying, you know what, man, I grew up watching you. Although R-Truth is actually older than Cena. But R-Truth is the fans. He's the one that's saying to John Cena, what happened? Why did you do this and that? What he would be the one to get all that emotion, all that anger out of Cena and obviously just let us know why he had made the decision that he had made. Interjecting R-Truth into this with his delusion. Now, how does it affect R-Truth going forward? Does R-Truth now come on Monday and I throw a 10 on Cena and say, you know what that guy did was wrong? He deserves to have the title taken away from him? No. R-Truth is the fans that are literally still in shock. That there's a lot of people still in shock that John Cena is actually winning matches with low blows, dirty tactics. I think this was the first time in Cena's career where I seen him do an eye poke on someone. It was just weird to see. And R-Truth can be that character which symbolizes the fans that are asking themselves, why did we get here? How did we get here? And obviously Cena retaining the title, R-Truth getting A8. We didn't even get that media post, the press conference to maybe get more out of Cena to see what he's going through. And it's obviously something that I would love to have a representation of R-Truth more into like he's always been there. R-Truth, if you think about it, has always been there ever since Cena came back. He's the one that's always fighting for him backstage. He's just saying there's always two sides to a story and stuff like that. So he can be the great character that actually represents fans that are now asking themselves what happened to Cena. I don't know. I could be cooking or I could be getting cooked. I don't know. But at this point in time, the other thing that I also wanted to maybe give a heads up to or a shout out to is the fact that Cody Rhodes is taking a well-deserved break. And when do we think, as a community, when do we think Cody Rhodes might be coming back? Rumor says he might be coming back at SummerSlam, so it'll be interesting to see how he comes back and how he faces this adversity. And is he gonna get a title shot rematch for his undisputed heavyweight championship, or is he gonna have to then go through the whole Royal Rumble route, which I don't think they need to do? We've got events such as Money in the Bank coming through. It will be interesting to see Cody Rhodes as a Money in the Bank winner. Crazy, but yeah. And who would you guys have win the Money in the Bank this year? The other thing is that I noticed, I mentioned this on one of my TikTok videos, the fact that these PLEs are so close together. I don't know what's going on. SummerSlam is also rumored. It's not even rumored, it's confirmed to be 2 nights. Me personally, no. Keep it one night, keep the card full, have it entertaining as it always has been. The 2 night theme for me works better with WrestleMania. It makes it much more bigger, much more extravagant than it's always been extravagant. But the fact that you're making it 2 nights means you're taking over a whole weekend and you're just putting on pure wrestling, entertainment, surprises, legends coming through. It's always great. But when you take that concept and you apply it to SummerSlam, yes, it is the biggest party of the summer, but now you're taking away from what WrestleMania is supposed to be. That's how I feel. Maybe you guys feel differently, and you should, you maybe saying that no, it's a great idea to have SummerSlam for 2 nights. I don't know. Me personally, I would have kept it at 1 night and left it there. It takes away from the beauty of what WrestleMania is. It's almost like we're having two WrestleManias. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird like that. But just let me know down below. Comment, like, share, hit the notification button so that when I drop new content, you guys can be. Thank you to our new subscribers. We're currently at 33 subscribers. Woohoo! The goal for the end of I would say the goal for the end of which month are we on now? We're in May. I would say the goal for the end of June, I would love to hit 100 subscribers. So please, guys, hit those share buttons. Let the community know. Simon Says Wrestling. We only focus on the positive and we try to keep everything PG. Let me know what your thoughts are on Backlash. Did you enjoy the show? Did it live up to the expectations? Did it exceed the expectations that you had for the show? And as always, now we're talking. Peace.